I believe that we are starting to feed through to the people. While I'm waiting for confirmation for that, a couple things I want to do. Let's start with hankstrange.com. Of course, you know you need to go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list. That's the thing to do if you want to know how to support us. All the different places you can get things like merch and all that. The merch comes from Ballistic Ink, by the way. This is the Gun Nerd shirt. I just got mine in. Check that out. I don't know what you think about that. Look. What? It's pretty cool. So yeah, I think Ballistic Ink is the site's having some issues right now, but they should be able to get that back up soon. But all of this stuff you can find out on hankstrange.com. If you're looking for the patches, you can get them there. So these are available if you can't get any shirts or whatever right now. You know, you can get patches from us. So all of that's on hankstrange.com. Sign up for the email list there. I also want to thank Walther Arms for sponsoring the podcast. Big shout out to them. We appreciate their support. That's how we can do all this stuff. And let's see. We got Rich here. We're going to have Babyface here in a second. Let me press the button and open everything. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation.
Make sure you guys subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified. Just me and Rich right now. Babyface is coming in later. Let's see those jazz hands. Come on, Rich.
Jazz pinkies.
Whatever, jazz hands, jazz pinkies. Obviously, Rich is representing for the BOP back there. Check out. Where's my BOP? Hold on. Anytime someone else is repping the BOP flag, I gotta unfurl mine and let it fly. The right side up. There he goes.
Do you have one of these?
No, man. Oh, wow. Look at that. No, I don't have one of those, actually. What is that? A Bureau of Propaganda black card or something like that?
Yeah, man.
Credit card?
I mean, well, you probably don't know the handshake that goes along with that.
Yeah, you know. You're in that secret club, Rich. What can I say? You're in that secret club.
That white privilege gets you nothing.
Oh boy, yes. So we've got Flying Rich on YouTube joining us. As I said, it's gonna be fun. Where's Pebbles? Where's Pebbles at, man?
Pebbles inside. He's been screaming his head off. I don't hang out and smoke with him. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Smoke's probably no good for him. Babyface P will be joining us. Shout out to everyone out there. As you guys are coming in, smash those thumbs ups. All right, we appreciate that. Smash them. Do it. This is episode 597 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast, in case I forgot to say that, which I think I did, Rich. I didn't say that.
So it's going to be 600 this week.
Yeah, 600. I don't know. Are we getting to 600? Maybe 600 is going to be next week.
No Friday show?
No Friday show because I am doing that Libertarian Party thing. So there's the Libertarian Party is having a convention in Orlando. And this weekend... Larry Sharp, yeah, who was here on the show. Larry Sharp will be there. Let's see. I think I have something right here I could throw up for the people out there. Just if you guys want to if you're in the Orlando, Florida area and you want, is there an Orlando anywhere else in America?
Not that I know.
No, I've never heard of one. But if you're in the area, here it goes. Here's the question on the top of this. Is the Second Amendment really for everyone? And that's what the panel's called. The panelists are myself, Hank Strange, Alicia Garcia, Devin Perkins, Edgar Antillon, who we've also had on the show, Rhonda Mary, who I think we're trying to get on the show. We haven't had her on yet. Spike Cohen is the moderator. I don't know who that is. I probably have met him. Special guest Maj Touré and Antonia Okafor. When and where? It's Saturday, July 11th, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., room W204, the Orange County Convention Center. And this is all put on by GOA. So if anyone's interested,
do you have to pay to get in, or is that like free entry?
I think it's free entry, right, Lola? I don't think you have to pay. Yeah. I don't think you have to pay for that. So, if you guys want to come up there and hang out with us, I think I'm going to be there Friday. So sometime probably after Lola gets off work, we'll be driving up there. Let's see. Someone asking what you're imbibing over there?
Yeah, it's Patron Silver.
Patron. Oh, wow.
Patron.
Look at you. Oh. You're a baller. Shot caller.
So there's something you can do on YouTube Live. You just can't,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this YouTube Live, man. It's really crazy. It's funny. The guy, my God, where is he? Right here. The guy, it looks funny, like his eyes are popping up over the thing. See that? It's like, ooh, crazy eyes.
Yes,
Whoop,
yes.
whoop, crazy eyes. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. I'm getting distracted. I'm getting distracted really easily here. So, yeah, so we're going to be there, Orlando, unless something crazy comes up and it gets canceled. But right now, the plans are we're going to do that. We'll be there Friday. Early evening, we'll be in Orlando. So I think there's some kind of reception thing going on as well. So, hit me up or hit us up somewhere. We'll get more information on that to you guys. So
no Crumpy.
I don't think Crump's going to be there, not from what I've heard.
No.
Oh, he said no, he's not going to be there. Yeah. They're probably not going to allow him back into Virginia if he leaves. If he leaves Virginia and he goes to Florida, they're gonna go, no, we don't want you. Can't come back in. I know states are doing that right now with this whole COVID-19 thing going on, man.
That's just not big. That's way out of. I mean, Mario Cuomo doesn't want to let Andrew Cuomo doesn't want to let Floridians into New York. It's like,
yeah.
And Len Holtz recognizing Fraz, and thank you for recognizing Fraz.
Oh, who's that? Oh, Len Holt. Okay, let's throw that up there. And if you see people shouting you out, Rich, let me know. I'll put it up there. There you go. All hail Fraz. So that's what. Explain to us what Fraz is.
It's the FlyingRich Autonomous Zone.
Oh, right. Yes, I've seen this. I've seen you posted about this. Oh? Yeah, your own autonomous zone. Okay, I understand. Yeah, how's that going? They haven't cleared you out yet? Your wife hasn't. Your wife hasn't sent in the cops to clear you out. No running around on highways for you.
No. The FlyingRich Autonomous Zone doesn't practice shenanigans. Just Second Amendment.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get a range set up here.
Okay.
And we did have the first diplomatic mission to the FlyingRich Autonomous Zone, and that was Chris Bullis and his family came to set up trade negotiations.
Right. How did that go?
Oh, it was good. We went out, had a nice dinner over by the Jupiter Lighthouse. We visited a neighboring country, Jupiter, Florida.
Oh, okay. They let you in. They didn't build a wall to keep you out.
Well, we have a fence. I just want to let you know that we don't have a wall around Fraz. We have a perimeter fence, but not much unlike the hacienda. Right. But we are a welcoming, autonomous zone, and we welcome you with your Second Amendment rights.
Oh, okay. You guys are welcoming. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have universal health care?
No, that you got to pay for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right. Chris Bullis says you're. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We have light industry going on.
Light industry.
Manufacturing stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna definitely get into that. So Chris Bullis, who you just mentioned, said Rich's wife is farther right than he is. I've heard about that.
So okay. My wife, the beautiful Terry.
Yes.
Which I'm sorry, you guys have never met Terry.
No, I've never met her, but I've heard of her gorgeosity. So I don't know what you did. I don't know if she was temporarily blind that day that she married you, but hey, it happens to the best of us, man. I used voodoo on Lola, if you want to know. Basically, that's what I did.
Good man.
Yeah, it works. If it works, it works. Right. Yeah, so go ahead. Tell us about the wife.
So Terry and I, we grew up on the South Shore of Long Island. I grew up in Islip. She grew up in Bay Shore. Mm-hmm. And Terry was actually living in New York City during 9/11, and that's when she became a Republican. As I have said, a rhino. Mm-hmm. So she didn't necessarily know why she became a Republican. Mm-hmm. Now, her family is, just... And I say this with the maximum love possible. They're very typical New York Jews, meaning very liberal. Judaism is more of a cultural thing than a religious thing to them. Mm-hmm. And you see that a lot in the Jewish faith. Okay. And realistically, as a Christian, I'm a Jew for Jesus. Mm-hmm. So it's all part of the same thing as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Terry might have been 5 years ago. We were in Orlando, and I was listening to Mark Levin. Now, all through our marriage, I was listening to Mark Levin, but she never got hooked. I think she listened to him once with me, but so I was listening. I got the head earbuds in, and she's like, "What are you listening to?" I'm listening to Mark Levin's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. She is like the Jehovah Witness of conservatism. I've got to separate like her and her father. We go out to dinner. It's unbelievable. She is like, "You're going to be a conservative, and I'm going to tell you why." She really needs to learn a little bit of you can lead a horse to water, but you just can't sit on his head until he drinks.
Okay. So you would say she's a conservative evangelist.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
yeah. Militant conservative evangelist, or
she's very active in the Tea Party, flag waving, and I don't know if you saw the live stream, but we were out on the Fraz yacht, and we participated in the neighboring countries parade.
Oh, okay. No, I missed that one. I missed that. No. Where is this? Where did you did it live? Where is it?
So it's on my YouTube channel. So youtube.com/FlyingRich.
Okay, we have to see. I'll go check it out and see if we could pull it up here. Yeah. So what about the daughter? You've got a daughter? Is your daughter? Okay. What's her political leanings?
I'm as lucky as I am not as you've met Skylar. Skylar.
Yes, I have.
First off, great kid. Just I really, she's home now. She just came in.
Mm-hmm.
Great kid. Love her to death.
Mm-hmm.
But because of Terry's tactic in teaching conservatism, she wants to have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Politics, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually, Scott. So all right, let me ask you a question about this. Chris saw this. Chris, as he pulled up to Fraz, he didn't have to look at the GPS. He saw the American flag and the Trump flag out front. He's like, "Oh, this has got to be the place."
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter is going to be going to school in Gainesville in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And one of her friends is coming up here that she hasn't met yet. She's going to be rooming with. And she's like, "Can we take down the Trump flag?" I said, "If I was gay or if I was black, would you ask me to hide?"
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Well, I don't want to get the wrong impression, and she hasn't met you guys yet." And I'm like,
I'm just curious. How long has your daughter been paying rent at your house? Never, right?
And she uses my credit card,
Yeah. Oh. See, because my response to that is my response to my children. This is my house. You live here by my good graces. That's how that goes down.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want in your place.
So I passed it by the Fluff. That's the first lady of Fraz. And
man, you've thought this out way too much, Rich. I'm telling you, you've thought this out way too much.
The monarch of Fraz.
You're the monarch. Oh, okay. So this is the dictatorship or sovereignty. What's the structure of this thing here?
Benevolent dictatorship.
Okay, understood. That's as every home should be. Yeah.
We're
the first. Is that the first lady? What'd you call her? The Hassafras?
No, that's Skylar.
Huh? Who is that? Oh, Skylar.
She's asking what's.
Oh, okay. She wants to know about food. Yes, I have met your daughter, which she is very nice.
She's a great.
Yes, but now I know why you have no hair. Actually, figured it out.
Yeah, I had hair before the first plane crash, but
yeah. Man, I'm telling you, so she's gonna be everything's set up for her. She's gonna be coming up here, going to our neck of the woods to go to school.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we got a place rented. So what is it? Social 28 or?
Okay, looks like we lost Rich there for a second. So I think Skylar went in there and pulled his internet.
Yeah,
She probably went into the house. You're kind of you've got to tilt your thing back. You're kind of upside down. Right there, you go. Right.
oh.
She went
Yeah,
in the house and pulled your internet.
Well, I use my phone, so when I get calls, unfortunately,
It messes it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see. There's a couple of different things here. Look, I never put any pressure on my kids to like political leanings and things like that. I just don't believe in it. I talk to them about what mine are, you
Right,
know.
right.
But ultimately, there's things I always tell them when it comes to stuff. All the things that people are afraid to talk about, like politics and religion and sex and things like that. I talk to my kids about, but I'm here as their guide in life. We've got 2 boys. I'm their guide in life to manhood. Which mine are. They're getting close there. They're getting close there. By the way, this is when we call him FlyingRich. He's the rich part of that is not Richard. It's because he's pretty wealthy. He can burn money. This is how he gets down. So anyway, I just try to guide them. I tell them what I believe, but I tell them they always have to question what you believe, right? That's a thing that's important, I think, when it comes to faith, politics, lots of stuff. You shouldn't just blindly, dogmatically believe or follow things and never question and learn and observe, and grow in that thing. Otherwise, like your faith, whether it's political or religious or whatever it is, it doesn't get tested. If it's not tested, it's like steel, right? Is it really strong? So
I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really good conversation with Skylar last time. We talked for a couple hours, and because I'm not holding the horse's head underwater, she's more happy to receive what I have to say. She did go to a magnet school for the performing arts, and they're all liberal.
Yeah. Well, and I think, so a couple of things are happening here. One, so the environment, their friends and all that kind of stuff, I think, does definitely affect things. But then on top of that, you have that whatever you are as the parent, the kids want to rebel against. So the best thing to do is just really, a lot of times, chill out, and then let them find that thing themselves. Because they're gonna get there. I think she'll eventually probably get there. You guys are her parents. She'll probably get there mostly when she gets out of school and has to start paying taxes and stuff like that. And she realizes a lot of those things that people are talking about, because she's hardworking and out there in the world doing things. She'll have to pay for stuff. That might get her a little riled up. I've met her. I don't think she's gonna be too happy about that when that happens.
Well, she's on her second job. Her first job, she was working at Publix, and I think they get like $10 an hour. And then when she saw she didn't get she didn't get $80.
Well, she thought, she was calculating that money.
Why?
Yeah,
it's like yes, welcome to adulting.
Yeah, what I found with my kids, them and their friends, I think, they're pretty much there, man. A lot of people seeing what's happening in the world today aren't really going for it. I know it looks like that if you look at the media, but there's lots of other people looking at what's happening in the world and what people are trying to tell us, and they're like, this is nonsense. Mostly they know it in their hearts. When they look at it, there's like, this just cannot, this doesn't make sense to me. And what the media and lots of people are trying to do is bend us and break us into a position that we know is unnatural. And even though I know there's kids out there adopting it, I think in another 20 years we're gonna see those kids have major problems. Do you remember the 80s and crack babies? Do you remember that?
Yes.
So like in the 80s when we were going through that and there were these crack babies being born, do you remember people were like, what the hell's gonna happen when these crack babies grow up? Remember? Okay, I think we are living that today. We're seeing some of the effects of crack babies out there, and what happens, for example, when kids are being raised by their grandparents and all that. And I think probably something, 15, 20 years from now, we're going to start seeing the results of a lot of nonsense that we're doing in the world.
Well, Glenn Beck talks about a pendulum swing, and the pendulum swung one way with Obama. and it's swinging the other way with Trump. Now, you don't want the pendulum velocity to get so high that the arc goes way one side and way the other side. And I'll tell you what, I'm real certain now. Trump could lose. And of course, anybody could lose the election.
Right.
I fear, I have a high degree of certainty he's going to get reelected, but I fear what will happen afterwards, because statistically, you don't get a 12-year run or 16-year run of Republicans. That would be very abnormal.
Yeah, I think what we've been seeing for a while is like 8 years, kind of flipping. Well, what was it? Bush Senior, he just had 4, right?
Yeah. So we did 8 Reagan, 4 Bush Senior, 8.
Yeah. So that was the closest we got then of like. So we got 8, and then 12. So that's the closest really we got in a while.
Screwed Bush Senior.
Who?
Ross Perot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That.
I never liked. I never liked the Bushes. I'll be honest with you.
The Bushes are progressives.
Yeah, I was never fans of those guys. And then it's just funny, like when they were in, when they were in office, they were the most hated people. But lately, they're like heroes or something to the people.
Oh yeah.
On the left, even though they hated them so much, and they kind of enjoy that. So it's kind of showing us where they're at.
Yep.
Might be showing us where they're at. So yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's see here.
Crumpy's in the chat.
Yeah, shout out to John Crump. He says, "Who's the bald guy?" There you go. Let's see who else is out there. Shoja says, "I never thought about the crack baby syndrome. All makes sense now." LMAO. You reap what you sow. I don't know. It's an oldie but a goodie. Yeah, you reap what you sow. The things that you allow to happen, it comes back, and we're just dealing with even forget the crack babies. We are dealing with the result of a lot of grandparents raising their children, and mostly grandmothers. So it's tough when you have children and they're not raised by their parents. Obviously, this happens in life, right? That you get a parent may die, unfortunately. Huh?
Maybe we lucked out the grandparents raised them.
I don't know, man. I think it's just tough when you don't have both parents raising a kid. But I think that it's even worse when you wind up in a scenario where it's the grandparents, and typically when you get in that scenario, it's not the grandmother and the grandfather. It's typically the grandmother. And we're starting to see the results of a lot of that in people from not being raised by both their parents, and and being raised by grandmothers and things like that now. And it's hey, a lot of times when we want to look around, we don't want to blame the man in the mirror. By the way, Babyface is joining us. Boom, there he goes. We got Babyface in the house.
What's up?
Where's Backbone? Back there.
We just had dinner, so he is stalking the kitchen while Marley puts the leftovers away.
Oh, is he? What do you mean stalking the kitchen? Is he like bringing in the bags?
No, he's hoping she drops something.
Oh.
She's putting away we had salmon and some veggies, and he's probably hoping she drops a vegetable or two on the ground. So what are we talking about? Grandparents raising kids and how kids are fatherless or something?
No, I think
we're talking about when you have kids, whether they're going to be conservative or liberal.
Oh God, who knows?
Yeah, and then I think I mentioned. Huh? What's that?
Did Marley talk to you, Pat?
Yeah.
She's got a message for you.
No, she did not tell me anything.
Rich knowing
no kids
something.
Yet.
Richard Hughes knowing something you don't know.
Ain't no kids yet. Surprisingly, my cousin who just graduated and came back from Stanford, which Stanford being a extremely liberal school, held on to her. She may have gone a little bit more center, but she pretty well held on to her conservative viewpoints. If not, it may have actually pushed her to be more realistic than a lot of students.
Well, you know what I got to say about it, and this meme's been going around, so it's not an original thought on my own, but when you look at the Virginia rally where there were 20,000 guys armed to the teeth walking around, and the place was polite, clean, cleaner than when they got there. Nobody tore anything down, burned it, looted, none of that crap. So our side, even with evil firearms, are incredibly polite, kind, and nice. Their side, the left, the Democrats, are burning the frickin' cities down, beating people up, tearing down statues. So I think that's a great example. What side are you on?
Yeah.
That's what I told my daughter last night.
So hold on. There's a couple of things here. Let's see. Boss Hog says, shout out to him, by the way. Boss Hog says, my wife was raised by her grandparents and she turned out okay. I'm guessing that she wasn't raised in the 80s. I mean, I was raised in the 80s, but she probably wasn't born in the 80s. In the 80s, I was a teenager. So, and I think, I'm not saying, like I said, there's things that happen like that, but we had this massive wave of crack babies and people having tons of children and not raising them, And listen, all the kids who are out there doing these bad things are not kids that come from bad homes and things like that. There's a lot of them that are kids that are pretty spoiled. But, they're impressionable. They're impressionable and they're out there, creating havoc. So obviously, listen, there's always exceptions to the rules. And I'm not trying to, go after your wife. It's whoever raises you, I think that the best thing is for people to be alive, right? So to be in the world, to have not been taken out of the world, and to be alive, that's the greatest thing. But you do have issues that you have to live with. Like, for example, my father, he had both of his parents were alive and around, but basically they were married to other people.
That's such a weird thing.
So his mom was pregnant with him, knowing that he was like the baby of another man, but when he was born, she gave that kid to her sister to raise, a lot like what you see in Harry Potter. And they grew up in this tiny village. My dad was born in 1946 in Guyana, third world country, South America, and he was raised and where he saw his father and his other brothers and sisters on that side, and he saw his mom and his other brothers and sisters on that side, and he was basically raised like the redheaded stepchild or whatever you want to call it, a lot like the servant and all that kind of stuff. The people that raised him had their own kids, they treated them the best and all that. But when you grow up seeing all of this, and I think it messes with you. My dad has a lot of problems, but when he had kids, he stuck around with my wife, my mom, for the period of time that he did for us to be raised, which I appreciate that. But it created some serious problems for him. And then now when I look at, and a lot of this is happening to the kids that are being raised, like this wave of kids that we're seeing out there where it's not like their parents died, and went away somewhere. Maybe they went to prison, maybe some of them did die. But a lot of these kids saw that same thing. You just had a flood of kids who know they have parents who don't give a crap.
Yeah.
So I think that has an effect. Appalachian Gunrunner says, I'm from Harlan, Kentucky, and we are known for union wars, opiate addiction. It's so sad. The grandparents that should be resting in their golden years, but instead have to raise their grandkids.
Yep. I know somebody in the Appalachia mountain areas in North Carolina that have that same problem. They have to raise their kids. They have to raise their grandchildren because their kids are drug addicts in jail.
Yeah. And Boss Hogs, by the way, just for clarification, he says yes, she was born in the 80s. So that's good, man. I'm glad that everything worked out. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes there's some people, adversity makes them better. But unfortunately, most people grow, and I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. It's tough to really call it. I guess that is adversity, but we have to put a lot of that in perspective, right? Like, it's one thing that it happens here in America where you have all these systems. I don't think people really understand all the systems that people have to fall back on in America versus in other places, where you don't have those systems and rights and benefits and things like that that I think lots of times Americans take for granted. But listen, some people grow up in those circumstances and do well, and then I think most people just don't do well with that. So there is a difference. I think there's a value to raising your kids and having both parents if you could do it. Although I realize it just doesn't happen all the time. So that's just me. Let's see what's going on here. Who else?
A lot of good comments.
Yeah. Matthew Reed says, I lived across the country from my grandparents. My grandfather was a stern, staunch conservative. It was until I was an adult, I realized how great he was. I try to model my life around him.
That's good.
Yeah.
Excellent. And look, I told Skylar if she has babies, if she, becomes pregnant, have the baby, we'll raise it.
Mm-hmm. You'll raise it?
If it's an unwanted pregnancy, I believe is what he's saying.
Yeah, if she has any question about it.
If she doesn't want to, you're saying.
Yeah.
If my sons all of a sudden had some kids or whatever, they're officially men at that point. So of course I would help, right? As a grandparent, I would want to help, but you're officially a man now. Job's time. Time for you to get a house. You know what I'm saying? Or an apartment or whatever.
Put another house on your property? Is that in the plan?
Get rid of the gun range.
No, I don't think so.
No, that's not how it works.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't mind. They can roll up there in an RV or something. I don't know if I really want to put like another house there. But listen, if you have kids, you need to raise them. If you're grown enough to do what it takes to have those kids, you need to raise them. Although I understand exactly what you're saying, Rich, and I think that my mom felt that way in situations that have happened in my family where, there were some kids that were related to her, that were her grandchildren, and she wanted to raise them in the absence of anyone else raising them. I don't think it's a little bit more complicated than that, but she felt that way. She told me that all the time. These are my grandkids. I'm gonna raise them. And I think that's how a lot of grandparents out there feel, because they get that. But let's think about this. If you are the parent, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're old enough to have that baby, you can raise it. Sure, okay, you have to give up college, or, maybe you try to struggle and go to college while you're having the baby or whatever it is. But guess what? You're old enough to slip the old PP.
People have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, you could do it. It'll be fine. Probably better for you. It'll probably man you up real quick and get rid of a lot of selfishness that you have. I think sometimes when kids get away with that, so in other words, they do the things that it takes to get pregnant, whether it's the girl or let's say a boy making a girl pregnant, and then the parents take over that burden, now that's a learning experience that kid misses out on.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. But I never wanted Skylar to think that it was some burden that she had to bear alone. That we would be.
No, I understand. Absolutely. No, I 100% get where you're coming from, because you feel the responsibility. What I'm saying is the kid needs to feel that responsibility too, and they need to feel it the most. Right?
Yeah.
They need to feel it the most.
I'd want her to successfully go through school, get a college education, get a degree, and all of that. I want her to go that route. Mm-hmm. There's some people. Patrick, I don't know. You went to college, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I got.
And look at how crazy he is. By the way,
I got a degree from a community college, and I'm self-taught on pretty much everything that I'm doing now. But it helped me learn how to think. A 4-year college degree might have been wasted on me. Might not, but I did okay otherwise.
Yeah. You don't think your degree was wasted, do you, Babyface? I know you don't necessarily use it, but do you feel like it's wasted?
I don't think it's wasted per se. I think the college degree that I got was more of learning how to live, if that makes sense. It's like the life lessons of going to college.
Do you want to tell us what it was? You want to tell us what that degree was?
Yeah, I have a psychology degree. I have a BS, a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. But I've never.
It's funny because I would never pick somebody that's as handy and as technical as you are, with machinery and building things for a psychology degree.
Yep, I figured the only way to progress further with my in my career field would have been to go and get like a master's or a PhD, and I never wanted to practice. That was never really my thing, so I got into computer sciences instead and followed that path. And tech has been plenty fine for me in the long run.
But what was the thing that made you choose that? Because I think that is part of your personality. Money. Like I see, really, the money
made me choose what?
What made you choose that when you went to college? Because I kind of see psychology always working in the background of everything you do, even though yes, you are a very hands-on kind of guy.
I think I don't know. I have a fascination with the inner workings of people. So just the inner workings of things in general, I guess. Having a fascination with the inner workings of machines and people aren't that different. So it's all kind of the same.
You know what makes it tick?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, he's been trying he's been trying to figure me out. It's not working for him.
Oh God, it's a disaster. But I've never really wanted to go back to school for my master's or PhD. It's just never been a thing for me, especially with. I could probably make really good money if I really wanted to go through all that and get a master's or PhD, but it's like I make a pretty good salary as is. Is it worth, spending the next 10 years trying to get my PhD just so I could practice? Like, yeah, it's not for me.
I mean, and you go through phases in your life too. So I think probably right now you're a completely different person. Although I think you probably still use that degree sometimes, like still in your professional life today when you go in for a job or something like, hey, I have this degree.
I think, so I think I use my innate skills when it comes to reading people in my daily life, but I don't know that having a certificate on the wall that says, hey, I have a master's or PhD in this particular field is gonna change a whole lot for me. That's why I've never pursued it.
Yeah. I mean, I always think if you were going to do some schooling right now, you probably want to learn like CNC stuff or something.
If I could go back and redo everything with all the knowledge I have now, I'd go get an engineering degree, hands down. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I'd go get a mechanical engineering degree and pursue something in the CNC field.
Rich is trying to show off a magazine that he printed.
You need a 3D printer, Patrick.
I thought about it. I don't have any projects that I don't like working in plastics. I like working in metals. So that's why I've stuck with the lathe and the mill.
All right. So there's a project I saw for you. Somebody 3D printed a Ruger 1022 receiver.
I've seen that, and I've been wanting to try one.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be a cool thing. So
because they don't.
If you wanted to work on that as a project,
print one out. We'll put one in. Well, I'll test it. I got parts here. I'll put it together, see what it does.
Yeah, I think that would work. I don't see why.
I mean, we could torture test that pretty easy. 22 is cheap.
Yeah. I mean, they may need some metal inserts or some places maybe, but no, it doesn't. Okay, cool.
It's great.
Yeah. So Boss Hog, he says this. He says he has a BS in aviation and only used his degree for a year. Fire college. Now I have multiple degrees and still in school. Some people enjoy being in school though.
So Boss Hog wants to learn tech. He's self-teaching himself. Tech.
I mean, tech stuff, and that's another thing is tech things other than coding. I'm not good at coding because it doesn't come naturally to me. Where I know people where coding is just like a second nature thing for them. Tech has never come really naturally to me. Coding has never really come naturally to me. But tech stuff typically does. I feel like I'm very technical savvy, so I've never really had an issue there.
Coding is kind of a whole different game.
Coding is, for anybody that's not aware that has this interest, if you have the personality that you like to solve puzzles, say you're the type of person that sits down and cannot stop until you have a puzzle solved, that is what coding is.
I code in my sleep.
Yes, there are people
I don't do software right now. I do virtual infrastructure. but most of my career I did software development, and I would go to bed with a problem and I would wake up and have it solved.
There are people. One of my friends who is has his master's in computer engineering, computer sciences, is one of those types of people where he does not stop, no matter what the project is. He will go for 24, 48 hours if he has to finish something, because his brain will not let him relax until he has the problem solved.
Yeah.
So if you're that type of person and you enjoy puzzle solving in general, coding would be perfect for you.
Yeah. I think it's big picture, little picture, though. Say that again.
I'm not that type. I'm the type of person that wants something solved, and I want it solved the quickest way possible. And if that requires somebody else doing it for me, like writing a little line of code, I'm just going to go to that person and be like, this is your expertise, write this line of code for me, and then I'll make it work for what I need. Like, I've never enjoyed putting code together.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that's big picture a little. So some people can see the big picture pretty easy, and they do think about puzzles and problems, but they see it in like a big picture way, versus some people can see the little part of that thing constantly.
That is how Robert is. I'd say he's very much starts as a little picture person. He's good with you give him the big picture and then breaking it down into like how to get it to function piece by piece. He's really good at that as well. But he is really, really good at, you throw some weird problem at him and he will go at it until it's solved. Doesn't matter what it is. We had this video game that we were playing that was this little indie game that had like 2 guys developing it. And there was one night that we couldn't get one of our friends to log into the server to play with us. And it turned out that the server that they were using was on an IP address that Microsoft had just recently had blacklisted or something, so nobody could get into it. So he found a way to like redirect past the broken IP into the real server. Seriously, instead of playing the game with us, he spent 2 hours doing this.
He couldn't let that go.
He couldn't let it go. He absolutely couldn't let it go, and then posted a thing on it saying, hey, for anybody else that's having this trouble, here's a quick fix for it. And then he got our friend playing. But he absolutely could not let it stand without fixing it.
By the way,
that's the type of brain he has.
This is why we have to work in teams.
Why? Absolutely.
Everyone has
I'm good at making people do things. I'm not good at doing things myself sometimes.
Yeah. So let's do a couple of things here. By the way, excuse me, smash those thumbs ups out there. We got lots of people watching us. We don't have lots of thumbs ups, but please do smash that. We appreciate it. Shooting Gallery Any gave us $5 here. He says, I got my degree in gunsmithing because I love working on guns.
So, Shooting Gallery Any, a question I guess for you as well. Do you feel like your brain works in... So another thing I guess I'll say is my brain works in mechanical puzzles. The way that developers have that like drive that they can't sleep until something's solved, that's how my brain works when it comes to mechanical things. Marley can tell you there are nights where I'm awake till 2 a.m. trying to figure out like how things go back together or how things come apart or how to like make something work better. And that's not like, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, but they're like, my brain will not let me sleep until I figure something like that out. So I guess in the mechanical sense, my brain does kind of work like that as well.
Okay, so a couple of things in gunsmithing. First off, Shooting Gallery Any wants to come on the podcast, so we got to get him on the Lifestyles of Locked and Loaded.
Okay, all right. I didn't know that. Did he just say that? Did I miss that?
No, he's a friend of mine.
Oh, okay, yeah, we got to make that happen. Got to make it happen. Yeah, absolutely. And, I think I met Shooting Gallery Any somewhere.
I think we've
He can tell me. I think I've probably met him face to face. But yes, talk to Lola, or if not, I'll talk to Lola. But just communicate. She's the boss of that. So go ahead.
But some of the things I think I look at designs like roller delayed blowback or how a Luger is put together. I'm like, who came up with this crap? How did like an AR-15? I can see like the PTR-91. I can see components of the PTR-91 in the AR-15 and how that design works. But some things I'm like, wow, how did you come up with this stuff? I think it's brilliant. I really find everything brilliant.
Like when I take apart a gun, a lot of times like designs that I've never used before. I took apart, like over here I have that Colt Woodsman sitting next to me that is currently in pieces because I got to clean it and put it back together. A lot of times as I'm going through it and seeing how things work, a lot of times I'll come to that conclusion of like, oh, the person probably designed it this way because of this limitation over here. And then sometimes you got to think back to, they had machining back in 1906, and that is totally different from what we have today. Mm-hmm. So you have to think in their terms.
Yeah, and it has to be like, so things also have to be repeatable.
Yeah, so there are a lot that goes into it, but for me, a lot of it is, I don't know, like machines, and I bet you if I were into cars, it'd be the same way. Like mechanics, I have a feeling they have that same sort of brain structure where mechanical things just kind of make sense to you. And it's hard to explain if you're not mechanical, but it's like you look at a bunch of parts sitting on a table, and like I can sit down and start going like, it's kind of like a puzzle where you're like, okay, this seems like it should fit this way. This seems like it should go here. I feel like there are probably aircraft engineers or car people probably all fit into that category within their own interest.
Yeah. And by the way, Shooting Gallery NE says, Babyface, yes, my brain works like that.
Yeah, it's annoying because it's really annoying when I'm trying to go to bed because I have work the next morning and I'm sitting there like, yeah, but this optic mount on my 1022 is too tall. Yeah, so I could buy this, but I don't really want to buy that. So maybe this would work. Like, I seriously, that's what keeps me up at night sometimes. And it's really obnoxious. As much as I enjoy it, I really hate it at the same time because I do like my sleep. Mm-hmm. And I will sit there for hours looking at parts and stuff online to figure out, like, ooh, is this the right height for this? Oh, will this work better on this? Which is stupid. It's such a waste of my time. It's a total waste of my time.
I think also, like, all men have obsessive brains. I'm sure there's... Yes. I'm not trying to say women don't have obsessive brains, but I think we are more likely to obsess.
I'm not even all men that are into these types of things, men that are into like knives and watches and machinery, things like that. I wonder if all of us kind of have that in the back of our brains where it's like, you just gotta figure it out. You know what I mean? Or
just driven by certain things, and like these certain things matter. Nothing else matters.
It's really in it. It is really stupid because sometimes it's like this thing that my brain is telling me really matters, really doesn't matter, but I cannot sleep until I figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
One of the things personally, I try to do things professional development that's going to make me money. So one of the hierarchies is what technology do I need to learn to make me more money or to keep the money flowing, or what's going to better my career path. The other thing is I try to do something every day that's fun, whether it's solving some sort of technical problem, whether it's like, playing, setting up a firearm with an optic or whatever it may be. I try to do something fun for me each day. It doesn't always happen, but that's usually my goal. But yeah, I try to learn something that's going to be profitable. That'll help me in my career path.
Yeah.
I'm money driven to a sense, but I'm less money driven. I find myself to be more driven by interest. So I have to find, like, if I find something, Hank can tell you, when I find something that really interests me, it grabs hold and I can't get rid of it until I have run that course all the way through. Yeah. Like when it comes to buying a gun, like remember the I have the Hudson H9 sitting on my nightstand right now. I haven't picked that gun up in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you were torturing the living crap out of me over that gun.
Because I've moved on to another obsession.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Moved on to something new, some other stupid gun obsession, which now is 22s. I'm on the 22 train.
Yeah.
But like that's how my brain works. It's like when I get hooked on something, it's almost like drugs. When I get hooked on something, I don't want to put it down.
Yeah, or it's like a dog with a bone. I think we're just like that. We have issues. We got to go in there and fix it. Look, our brains all work differently, and this is why everyone shouldn't be forced to do the same things.
Yeah.
This is why I'm always telling people there's certain people that would make awesome cops. Certain other dudes, don't ever let those dudes be cops.
People, I've always said, especially when it comes to police, the people that want power desperately should never be a cop, ever. The people that want, same with politicians. The people that want power desperately should never go into politics.
Yeah, and it shouldn't so people who want to be famous shouldn't necessarily be politicians. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't really be able to recognize those bastards.
Well, what they
right?
say is politics is show business for the ugly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's people who don't have maybe they don't have that talent. They're not really good at singing. They're not really good at playing music or playing basketball, football, or whatever other, acting or whatever that thing is out there, right?
Or they've had way too many facelifts and their eyebrows have sideburns.
I think you're talking about someone specific. I feel like you're going in for someone specific.
That's Tyven's line. I stole that from Tyven.
Oh, okay. Listen, so we're talking. We're talking about what you're into to making stuff here. So I'm gonna go to this. I was gonna go to something else, but let's jump in to this story while we're here, babyface. I'm gonna put this up on the screen. This is in the Truth About Guns. I shared? Yeah, federal bill would take home gun manufacturing back to the Stone Age. Back in May, one of the Senate's most dedicated anti-gun members, Connecticut's Richard Blumenthal, introduced S.3743, the Untraceable Firearms Act of 2020. The target, of course, is those scary objects of gun grabbers' nightmares, ghost guns. Blumenthal's bill would, among other things, ban the possession of programmable manufacturing devices like CNC mills and 3D additive printers unless you're a licensed manufacturer. And it goes on. Not to be outdone, the Legislative Stupidity Department by the other House of Congress, Maryland Rep. Jamie Raskin, declared hold my bear and filed his own version in the House, H.R. 7468, the Stop Home Manufacture of Ghost Guns Act of 20... Oh, for Christ's sakes.
Come and get me.
Yeah.
There is no problem with making your guns at home.
Yeah.
It shouldn't... It isn't illegal.
Yeah,
So from one standpoint, mm-hmm. that genie is never going back in that bottle.
No, I don't think it is. No.
You got somebody with a couple of files. You get a good guy with a Nicholson file and maybe a drill, they can make you anything you want. You don't need specialized tooling.
We're way past that. We've been making these things for my gosh,
couple hundred years. Quality for a couple hundred years now.
Yeah. Way past it. Yep. But this thing wants to go further. So it says here, Raskin's bill wanders a little bit farther down insanity lane than does Blumenthal's. It shall be unlawful for any person in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce to transfer or offer to transfer to any person other than a licensed manufacturer of firearm manufacturing machine. Except this all gets deep, right? We could get lost in the minutia.
Basically, everything in Patrick's garage.
Oh God, anything that's in that garage could be used.
Yeah, but the problem is, first of all, it's nonsense. So I don't think anything like this should ever exist. But
all these things are. So you got to realize, like, when you get up in the morning to do something, you're doing something because you need to do it. Mm-hmm. These guys are getting up in the morning and doing these show bills because then they can say, I proposed that bill. It's never going to get passed. It's never They might pass it. Nancy Pelosi might pass it. Sideburns. But it's never going to get passed.
I think in a certain world, I don't want to say, I'm in the category of never say never. Because I think in a certain world, these idiots are crazy enough to do it. They're crazy enough to do it. And here's my problem. These same machines you use to make a lot of other stuff. So yes. I don't care that you could use it to make a gun. I don't give a crap about that. But you can use these things to make lots of other things. So now people that want to make other things, well, if something like this exists, it makes it more difficult for them to be able to do that because the machines they have can make other things. And a human being should never be able to be blocked from inventing things, right? So basically, you can invent and manufacture your own stuff. You just can't make firearms and sell them to someone else without licensing.
So, funny thing here about this whole situation. In doing the video that went up on Monday for the Colt 22 that I have that Carbine Williams made, mm-hmm. I did reading on Carbine Williams and how he came to invent some really cool guns. The dude was a convicted felon because he murdered somebody. Back when he was 19, in 1921 or something like that, he was moonshining as a teenager. He was a moonshiner. The local cops rolled up on him, took all of his equipment, and as they were running away, he started shooting. His posse started shooting at them, and they killed the sheriff. He got charged with it and was found guilty of murder. In prison, the main guy in charge of the prison realized that he had such an aptitude for mechanical stuff, mechanical knowledge, that he was like, they gave him full rights to the full access to the machine shop, and while he was in prison, was making guns, inventing guns, and inventing ideas and stuff like that. Imagine anybody even considering that today. If you're like, yeah, well, I'm really good at machinery. Can I just work on guns in the machine shop?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's get the convicted murderer to be working on our guns. Every officer that worked there, bring their guns to him. He would clean them, oil, and put it back together, make sure they were running right. And then he invented some of the most prolific things. The short stroke gas piston. That's his idea.
And what's the name of this guy?
Carbine Williams is the nickname.
Okay.
Short stroke gas piston and the M1 carbine from World War II, both his inventions. And those inventions went on to make many, many other inventions. But yeah, imagine that today, somebody being like, hey, let's let the felon in prison, the murderer, design and build guns. It would never happen. Going back to it, that's all been out of the bag. The genie's out of the bottle. It's
absolutely
not stopping somebody.
Milsurp Mike says, be careful. In many states, enough crap has been thrown up against the wall that some of these laws have stuck.
That's a scary thing.
He says, and there's always rhinos out there willing to compromise, of course. There's certain lines, man. I think we just need to have certain lines. Like, for example, if there's no Second Amendment in America, we're basically in a civil war as far as I'm concerned. That's how that works. There's certain lines. I mean, let's be honest about it, right? There's certain lines that when you cross this line, you don't have freedom anymore. Yep. And one of those things is creative freedom, right? The ability for you to what is that? Necessity is the mother of invention. A lot of what we were talking about here, right? That you've got, you could be that same kind of person, Patrick. So can Rich, right? Lots of folks out there. Who knows? Crazy thoughts. One in a cajillion. Even me might come up with some idea for something. You mess around like, I think I can make my gun run better or do this thing if I do this. You have that ability to do that. You take us to the next level of evolution. If anyone's trying to stop that, forget it. There's no point in us going further than that.
Government oversight, government overreach is stifling all sorts of industries. Not just the firearms industry. All sorts of industries.
Yeah. So
life will find a way.
Yeah, and I think people are finding ways now. I mean, the more unfortunately, sometimes you got to do something that, if you want to design and build something better, you got to just do it. Yeah. If it's better, it'll work. But it's ridiculous that so much is being stifled.
I think people have to stop this kind of craziness, but I don't know, man. I don't feel like it's going to stop. Night Train said they made a movie about Carbine Williams years ago, starring Jimmy Stewart.
Yep. Yes.
And Matthew Reed says he's looking for that movie right now, and Len Holt says that was a great movie. I never saw that. Maybe I need to look that up.
Carbine Williams, interesting
Special K, my friend and neighbor is throwing me under the bus and backing it up over me.
Let's see. What is this? Special K says, oh man, they got FlyingRich as a guest at Shooting Gallery NE. Should be in there with Babyface P and Lifestyles and Locked and Loaded. But is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, Rich gave the plug. He tried to make the connect for Shooting Gallery NE. We'll make it happen. Baby steps. We're getting there. We'll make it happen. Let's see.
Patrick, are you going to have one of these mugs next year or in October?
Is that the one where you go to the I don't know what that is.
That is looks like the IV-88, the range day.
I don't know. I still haven't figured out if dog has decided to attack something. Yeah. I still have no idea. So
yeah.
Dog found dinner.
Not sure what he's barking at. I'm waiting on a delivery, so I'm kind of hoping that's what it is, but I doubt it.
Just tell him I said Napoleon Complex much.
Yeah, seriously.
Every time I go over there, he starts carrying on the same way. But I notice he comes to my house, he doesn't come in there with that nonsense.
No, he comes like, ooh, can I come inside, please?
Yeah.
And Kathleen also got her bus driving license.
Yeah, Kathleen says, "Flying Rich on the chat. My God, who is next?" I know. We're at the bottom of the barrel right now. We're dragging the bottom of the barrel. Listen. So these particular things these guys are trying to do, I think it's possible. I think we should try to do everything to resist it. But in the end, we shouldn't comply with anything like that. That's just the bottom line of that. So, that's my opinion. You know, let's see what else. We've got a bunch of different things here we wanted to get into. You know what? Can we talk about Gunstreamer?
Can we make this happen live on air?
What is it?
DHL just came by. It's my tutor.
Uh-oh. Watches.
Oh my God! I've been waiting.
We're gonna have watch talk. Hold on, we're gonna have to go on Patreon for this. A live unboxing of a watch.
No. Did you sign for
So
it?
tell us about this watch. Where did you get this from?
Cover my address, even though it's not hard to find me.
Is this a used watch that you got or a brand new one?
It's new. It's still got I think it's still got some of the stickers and everything, but it was on the secondhand market. The person bought it from Harrods and sold it they upcharged it because they're kind of rare.
Oh, I thought you told me this was that you weren't going to be able to get this one. That's cool.
I did think it was going to come in. I found another one online and I ordered it.
Yeah. Smash the thumbs ups for unboxing here. I know it's not a firearm, it's not a gun.
By the way, if anybody's hungry out there and you see these little poop looking, can you see that little poop looking?
Those are not edible.
Packed peanuts. They are absolutely edible. They're starch and stick to your teeth and they taste bad, but you can't eat them. Oh. It tastes like glue.
You're a knucklehead, like I said before. You're just making my point about your knuckleheadery.
Can't be eaten.
This is what a psychology degree gets you from Tampa.
Right. Can't be from UCF.
Oh boy. Here we go. Oh, big box.
Oh, this is his watch box. Oh no, it's his wrapping. So I bought it from Bloom Bar Watches. Ooh, nicely wrapped.
Tudor.
There's the Tudor logo.
Tudor. I'm a big fan of Tudor.
Starch is stuck in my teeth.
Yeah. So is this your first Tudor? I'm taking it. This is your. No,
this is my second Tudor.
You have an old school Tudor.
I have an old school Tudor. This is what has made me really interested in Tudors. I have an old school Tudor Snowflake, which I'm not sure where that is. I think it's in the room over there. Mm-hmm. Fine watches and aftercare. So here's the receipt. I won't dox whoever actually bought it. There's the receipt from Harrods. Hank, you want to tell people who don't know what Harrods is?
So if you've ever heard of Princess Diana, this is like a weird kind of link, but basically Harrods is one of those luxury shops in England. This is his old. This is my old.
This is a 1972 Tudor Submariner. It was one of the old ones that Rolex still made.
Yeah. So Harrods is like Bloomingdale's or something like that in England. It's a very high-end shop. They have lots of cool things that you can get there. And this is a special Harrods version of a Tudor watch, I'm guessing. Which I've seen it before. It's green. It's supposed to be green and
it is as awesome.
Let's take a look at it here.
So this is the green Tudor, not
very nice.
Submariner, the Black Bay in Harrods green. So I don't know if the color comes through well.
Yeah, that looks good. I like the bracelet.
Versus my old black Tudor. I've been obsessed with this for a couple months now, and I found one online that I ended up ordering from the UK. It was a disaster. I've never ordered a line. No, somebody said a Tudor or a fake. Dan hates you. No, I paid a lot of money for this. It better be real.
No, I think he's trying to say a Tudor so fake. Tudor's the real deal.
Tudor's so
there are some fake Tudors out there of that particular watch because it's like a very difficult. In order to get this watch, you have to go order it from Harrods in London.
and wait
yeah.
for it to come in, and then when it comes in, you have to go to Harrods to pick it up. So I could not normally just go get this.
Yeah,
Well,
that's cool.
man,
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
It is number 3,955.
Yeah, so there you go. And this is in place of your Hulk Rolex, but I think this is nice. I like for now. I like Tudor. You know, I know Tudor is like you know, more, let's say, more affordable. But that's the thing, man. I think a lot of these watches out there are ridiculously expensive, and I'm not a huge fan of these crazy expensive watches. So Tudor is a more affordable, accessible, but it's a
more affordable. Here, if anybody's curious, I don't want to flex. Like, I'm not trying to flex on people. Should I show what the purchasing price was from Harrods?
Oh yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, in pounds. This is going to be in pounds.
They're not horribly expensive.
What is it? 2,000 something?
2,800 pounds.
Yeah. So there you go.
I paid a little more than that as a premium because it was bought and then
with the rate of exchange and everything like that, pound sterling.
So I also went through the funny enough, I also went through the process of importing it. I've never done that before, and that it was an extra $200 in importation fee. The government just gets you wherever they can. Don't they?
Yeah, you can't. You can't get those here in America unless you do something like this. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. I've seen videos on that watch.
I don't want to flex on everybody, and I didn't think this was coming in until tomorrow, so I'm just really excited. I've been looking forward to this.
You know what's funny?
It's not like you're lighting cigars with $100 bills. You know?
Yeah. You're not balling. You're not balling like FlyingRich here. You know what's funny? So what's funny is I actually unboxed a watch today, but it's nowhere in that same category.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
But it is a nice watch. Boom, check it out. Let's see. I don't know if the folks actually. I'll take it off. So if you've seen this green camo thing on my hand here, actually what this is geared hardware. So this is kind of like a homage watch. If you guys know what that is. So let's say, like, you know, the watch that it represents, that it's homaging, I guess, is the way to put it. Here, I'll put this up here. It's really a Panerai. If you're into watches, let us know if you're like a watch guy out there. So anyway, this is not a Panerai. This is a homage to the Panerai, and it comes from Geared Hardware, and it's $190. It's quartz. It has a Miyota engine back there. It's driven by. But I think it looks really good. See, here's the telltale Panerai thing right here. This basically a crown guard, and it came with a leather strap, and then the guys from Geared Hardware also sent me this rubber camo strap. And it's got loom and stuff like that, and it's got like actual sapphire, you know, on the thing. So I'm working on a video for it. I can actually cut it in here and show you guys if you're into this. So here's the reason, like, these guys actually reached out to me because I'm into watches and I've done some watch videos, and they're like, hey, you want to, you know, take a look at our watch and test it and stuff like that. So when
from what you said, they are very pro-gun, aren't they?
Yeah, so when I went to research them, right, exactly. And people always, you know, since I think in the last year or so, there's always people trying to send me stuff to do videos on, and I try to do some research and see where they're at. These guys turned out to be very pro-gun, guys, and a lot of their pictures and stuff like that, they have guns. I'll go to their IG here in a second, but I'll show you the website. If you like watches but you don't want to spend a ton of money, I think these are cool watches in my opinion. If you're not balling like Richard Hughes over there, you know, or Babyface P for that matter.
Listen, I haven't given up my dream of getting my, like, there's a Rolex that I want, and I haven't given up that dream yet. It just is gonna have to wait. I've made the agreement that once I hit 100,000 subscriers, Marley will let me get my Rolex.
Oh, okay, cool. So is Marley letting me? Is Marley? Can I get a Rolex, Marley?
Listen, if I can afford it at 100,000 subscribers, I'll get you a Rolex.
So check this out. Here's the Geared Hardware website that I was telling you guys about, and this is the Panther, right? That's what they're calling it, the Panther. To me, it looks really, it looks and it feels good. You know, it's worth more than the $190 that you pay for it. I want to see exactly how tough it is and beat it up and knock around with it and see how it is and all that. So I will do some video stuff on this for anyone who's interested. And this is the particular band that I switched out on there, which it's easy to switch out these things. And I think they sell these bands for like $40. So this rubber one's
So
$40.
what's the stock band? Is it a metal band or?
No, the stock one is a rubber. It's a no, not rubber. It's a leather band.
Okay.
You can use NATO straps and things like that. I have the stock one here that I could show you guys. Mm-hmm. So it's just basically here we go. So it's just leather, and it's genuine, genuine leather. 24 millimeter, so you can put anything that's 24 millimeter on it.
For any, we're not trying to sell you on watches. We're just talking watches.
Yeah,
we're not pushing you to buy.
I'm blaming Babyface for that. I'm blaming Babyface.
I know. I didn't expect. I was expecting this to get delivered tomorrow, so I'm very excited.
No, listen, that's awesome, man. It's as a. I don't know. I'm glad to have shared the experience with you of you unboxing your new baby. I know you're gonna be. You were just talking about obsession. He's gonna live in this obsession now. I can see all the links that I'm gonna get sent.
Patrick, I think your watch is more. Do you have a more expensive gun than the watch, or is the watch more expensive than your guns?
I have a lot of money in guns.
One
single
gun.
Are you talking about one single thing? You're talking about just one thing. What does he have? A more expensive gun than a watch?
My crank would be pretty close to price. I probably have about $4,000 in my crank, so it's pretty close. This one's a hell of a lot more. Even though back in the day, I think I've told this story before. This is a $50 Tudor because my family owned a watch shop in Tampa. A customer brought that in back in the 70s, had it reserviced and repaired. The bill was $50, and the customer said, "Oh fuck it, I'm not paying that. It's too much money," and left it. And then so in the jewelry business, after a year, you can put in that there's a phrase for it where it's like goods that have been
that person defaulted on it somehow.
Yeah,
right?
So the goods are no longer yours. So mom back then, I guess maybe this might have been the 80s, said, "Okay, I'll take it." Because they weren't super expensive. They're still kind of expensive watches. She paid the $50 tab and took it home and put it away. And now that I'm old enough to not destroy it, I finally got it. And I've been wearing this for a couple years now.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be my baby.
That's a good deal. What I like about the older Tudor that you have. So basically, I don't know if people know this about Rolex. Rolex is a closed company. They're not on the stock market, none of that. It's actually in a trust. It's in a charitable trust. They don't have to disclose anything. And they make, I think, how many, I'm not sure what number of Rolexes they make, but they make a limited number of Rolexes every year. Closed company. Inside of that trust is also Tudor. In that trust.
Tudor's a sister.
Yeah, it's a sister company to Rolex. It's inside of there. And actually, Tudor makes less watches than Rolex does every year.
Hans Willdorf, the British guy that started Rolex, also started Tudor. Rolex was becoming very popular. And when he just came up with Tudor, it was becoming a little more expensive because Rolex used all in-house everything. They made everything from scratch. So he came up with Tudor, and Tudor for a long time used ETA movements, ETA movements, which ETA is like, if you want to watch movement, you go to ETA. They make millions of movements for all companies. If you buy a mid-grade watch with an automatic movement, it probably is going to have an ETA in it. They're just that common. So Hans Willdorf said we can make a cheaper Rolex, Submariner, instead of using the in-house movement that we engineer. Just grab an off-the-shelf ETA, throw it in there, and that's for the working man. So Tudor has always been sort of, the way I see it, it's always been sort of the working man's watch. It doesn't quite have that. It's not like driving a Porsche where you get looks of like, oh, he's got a Rolex sort of thing. It's kind of a little more subtle, which is why I like the brand. Just me.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's cool, man. And then that watch, the older one that you have, because back then Rolex did like, they still had some of the parts were stamped Rolex.
Yeah, so everything on this watch, other than the movement and the dial and everything, it's all Rolex Oyster bracelet, Oyster case, which is a problem for me because the clasp on this broke, and I had to get a replacement, and I found one that wasn't the right replacement. It's the wrong band, so it doesn't fit right. because a new clasp is about $300, and I just can't bring myself to spend that on a clasp. But
I think I could convince Rich to lend you some money. That he's burning money, so.
Yeah.
Tutor is a good company.
Don't do it though. Don't do it. You might wind up in jail for a long time if you try to,
burn the real stuff.
Yeah. Because
I don't want to ruin you guys on Watch Talk, because I can go on.
No, listen. That was cool. That was very cool. Congratulations to you. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be sleeping. And now we're not going to get much concentration out of you for the rest of the show either.
I'm going to have to down because I have to take some links out, and I'm going to have to do that on my own after the show.
Yeah.
Because my screwdrivers are downstairs.
Yes. Congratulations, though. That's pretty awesome. I think those are really cool. If you don't know Harrods, so remember Princess Diana, her boyfriend, when she died? What was his name? Dodi Fayed?
They own Harrods.
Yeah, his father owns Harrods. So I don't know, just a little bit of trivia there.
If I ever make it to lunch, to go in there and maybe not shop, but look around, have a coffee or something. But maybe one day.
So let me give you a little tip. When you make it to England and you go with your Harrods, your Harrods tutor. Yeah, I just wanna let you know something. Like, if you're gonna go there and try to flex on them,
no!
They sell actually like really expensive watches.
Yeah, no, this is like the cheapest thing they sell, I believe.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna say the cheapest, but yeah, they the watches that they sell in there are really expensive. Let's just put it that way. So. And DCG44 says, "Who does not know Harrods?" There you go.
I hadn't heard of it until I started researching this watch. I'm a true American kid. I don't. Mm-hmm. I've never traveled abroad really, so it's
Rick said me. Did you ever hear of Harrods, Rich?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Richard's high post. He knows.
Yeah, I don't even believe that. He's like, not really.
No, I did.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay.
You hear it.
Yeah.
Night trains is too dangerous to visit London these days. I know. That's why I'm not going right now.
Dude, it's dangerous to go get a sandwich from the Subway shop at 3:00 in the morning in Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Bag of loving white guys beat you up.
Yeah, so, it's dangerous all over, man. It's dangerous all over. So, yeah, listen, we'll do some follow-up. Maybe I'll convince Babyface to do a video with me of that watch that he just got.
I have a 50 BMG that needs to be picked up from my house, so maybe we can do a trade. You come pick up your 50 BMG and you can do a video on the watch. How about that?
What? Hank's getting a 50 BMG?
Hank has had a 50 BMG that's been sitting in a box at Walter's for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And finally, I showed up to work on something else and was like, "Can I just take it back with me?" And Walter's like, "Tell him to shut up." So tell him to stop it.
Yeah, we're gonna do. We're getting it all situated right now. So we'll do some long distance stuff. We're getting ready to do.
That watch you got? I mean, how would it do against a 50 cal?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna find out.
I don't think it's gonna survive. I don't think.
Don't want to know. Have no interest in knowing.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna try that. I know I was looking at their videos on their website. They're supposed to be tough, but I don't know if they're that tough. Although, you know what? I wanted to buy some of those real watches that promise super toughness and try them out. But I think I would start off, if I shot anything at those watches, it might be like a 22. Maybe
start with the Casio G-Shock.
Yeah. From what I hear, those things they're pretty durable.
Yeah, there's some tough watches out there. Is it Victronox?
Victronox makes the official Navy SEAL watch, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But from what I understand, a lot of the tier 1 guys use G-Shocks.
Yeah.
A ton of them use G-Shocks.
I think so. I think a lot do.
I've never changed a battery in a G-Shock.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, so ultimately, I guess dyed-in-the-wool gun guys like automatic watches, but probably the toughest watches are going to be quartz. That's just the reality of toughness. The toughest watches are going to be quartz. So, for example, there were these 2 watches that I wore when I drove around the country, and one of them was automatic, the other one was quartz. That automatic thing had so many issues, like if it got banged around and stuff like that. The timing was off. It had to get corrected.
That's not a good watch.
Well, no, it got pretty banged up, man. I was, doing a lot of because I was switching out of the two. Huh?
What was it? Was it a high-end watch?
No, it was a really tough. The company that makes it makes tough watches, but when it's auto, there's lots of things that you could do that would throw these watches off pretty easily. So I think that if you want something tough, you're gonna probably go with quartz.
Yes.
So that can take the shock and all that kind of stuff
if I were going to fight a war, I would not be taking a Tudor, even though it probably would survive just fine. I just don't like beating up pretty watches. Honestly, I'd probably go buy myself a G-Shock, because if I ever broke it or whatever, you just throw it away and buy yourself a new one. And supposedly they are very tough.
I'm sorry. Wait a second. Go ahead.
G-Shock glass.
Yeah, but let me ask you this though, Babyface P. Are you insinuating that you don't currently own a G-Shock?
I don't own G-Shock. No.
Oh, so
I do not like G-Shock.
So you're not actually a watch guy, basically.
Oh, get out of here.
You're not a man. You're not a man.
Oh, get out of here. You should see the stuff in my watch box.
Come on, everyone has a Everyone has a G-Shock out there of some sort. No. Okay, let us know. Tell us out there, gun guys and girls, what's your favorite watch?
You've always been too big.
Are you a heathen and you have an iPhone, iWatch? Let us know.
Had one of those.
I had the original G-Shock, and I kind of liked it because it wasn't too big. Now that I'm 50, almost 55 in October, I'll be. I can't see the original G-Shock. It's too small.
Yeah.
I would need the big, bloodier one.
I take that back. I have an original G-Shock.
Okay.
I actually do have one of those. It's not working, but I have one.
Oh, okay. Okay, you just saved yourself.
No. You don't have a G-Shock. If you have a G-Shock, it's working.
So this G-Shock got worn hard and put away wet for countless years.
I think he probably messed with it.
No, I haven't. I actually have two G-Shocks, because I have one that has an ugly case and works, and I have one that has a nice clean new case and doesn't work. And I was supposed to switch the movements on them, and I've never done it. They've been sitting in a drawer for the last couple years. I probably should get that done at some point.
Yeah. Let's see here. Shoja says classic Casio G-Shock. Casio, yep. I've got a
Boss
Casio.
Hog has a Diesel and a Samsung Active 2.
Okay.
Skivvy Waver has Citizen Auto Wind. Good watches. Citizens are good stuff. What? You wouldn't take a Timex? It takes a ticket, a lick, and it keeps on ticking.
Yeah, Lenholt G-Shock.
Omega, and that thing couldn't keep the right time for I just good looking watch. Just
which one was it? An Omega?
Omega.
I really like Omegas. I actually have one in the watch box over there that is a gold dress watch that it doesn't fit me anymore. It just feels too small on the wrist. But I like Omega stuff for the most part. Yeah, that one's old. That one's from like the 50s. It's really
Center
old.
your camera if you can. John Parson says Tag Heuer F1. He's got a Tag Heuer.
I think Hank knows about that.
I have a Tag Heuer. I probably, you know what? I think there's certain watches that are just really super overpriced. I like Tag. I think they're a little bit too expensive, but I do have one. I gotta give both you guys would enjoy this. So, when you fly private, you go to what's called FBOs, and FBO stands for Fixed Base Operator. So it doesn't really mean anything. But guys that come off multi-million-dollar jets will go through the FBO, and they have these bougie magazines that each page is like a piece of cardboard, and then they have these watches in there. I got a few in the living room. I gotta drop them off. You guys would love this stuff because they got these crazy watches, just crazy, like
things that the everyday person is never gonna see. The nice thing about something like this is you can strive for it and hit that mark fairly easily if you really want one, because that's what it is for me. I'm not spending that money on a watch. I have. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have no problem on watches. They are gorgeous things.
Money no object. I probably would get a lot of crazy watches. So
the only one Hank knows, the only crazy money no object watch that I would buy, and I am almost ashamed to say it, but there's something about it that I love, is the Rolex Daytona Rainbow Edition that came out with.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could ever.
He has a
wear
snowflake and he has that. I don't know. You guys put that together.
Oh my god! What are they, like
one.
$130,000 or something like that? They're
They're
not attainable by your average person.
Yeah.
That watch is more than your house.
Yeah, close to.
Yeah.
Close to. In this market here,
I think it's more than that.
To.
I think it's more the price is more than that if you really actually look it up. Dan Hates You says Sporty Spice wannabe chicks from 2008 wore G-Shocks. That's Dan Hates. Yeah, there you go.
Volstock. Dan Hates You also says he has a small collection of Volstock. Are those? I think those are those. I'm guessing those are the Russian.
Yeah, are those the Russian ones? Those are cool.
Those are the ones that have like the Russian star. I've seen those.
Yeah,
they're really cool.
There's some Chinese ones too, right?
There's that Chinese seagull that's pretty nice too.
Yeah, commie watches, as Walter would say if he was here. Commie watches.
If anybody out there is looking to get their first durable watch, get a Seiko 5. Go on Amazon, look up a Seiko 5, pick the one you like, order it, and wear it. They're good watches for like $80 to $100.
Yeah,
and they're automatic movements. They're good watches.
Yeah.
That will get you in the door to buying expensive watches.
Kathleen Music Lover says, I have a Ronald McDonald watch.
Mar, what's that company you want? Oh, she's upstairs. What's the watch company you want? The shark on it.
A shark?
Freestyle. Marley wants a freestyle watch so bad. Those are like, hold on. Oh, they're so ugly, but she loves them.
Let's see. Boss Hog says, "Money no object. My watches will have diamonds." So I don't know if I really need diamonds. I like there's things out there. First of all, I like things that have an industrial look.
There you go. There's a freestyle.
Like industrial looking ones. We're still on the watches,
Sorry guys, I'm gonna knock us off course.
We can't disconnect from the watch talk. Let me see.
I figured Patrick would be talking about his garage made illegal more than watches tonight.
I've already gotten over that. I read about it today and was like, some bullshit. But
yeah. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna throw this watch up that Marley's into.
Second picture. They're like they're like ultra 90s wristwatches, and Marley wants
pretty close to the 80s. Pretty close to the
80s. She wants one so bad. I don't get it.
They're almost Swatch watches. Almost Swatch.
I was going to say Swatch. Yeah.
Yes, they're in that same vein.
Shoot.
Swatch makes cool watches though. I like Swatch. I have a Swatch watch, and I bought a Swatch watch. Lola has one. I bought one for each one of the boys.
Wait. Do you remember in the 80s when the people in New York were running around with a watch that was like an LCD clock on their wrist?
I remember a lot of crazy stuff from the 80s. I think I know what you're talking about.
It was like, 4 inches by 2 inches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went through a lot of crazy stuff in the 80s. Huh?
It was the Flava Flav starter kit.
Yeah. Okay, so here goes the other picture that Patrick sent over. Yeah, that's wild.
Like, I don't even know how you would explain these, but Marley wants it really bad.
Psychedelic.
It fits her personality.
Yeah. I think they're cool. Listen, that's the one thing about watches.
Someone DCG44 says, someone talk about Hamiltons. My Hamilton is downstairs. I'm going to go get it because I love my Hamilton.
Hamiltons are good watches. They're good watches. If you're looking for a good automatic watch, I think a Hamilton is good. Affordable, high quality, lots of different options from Hamilton. So I think they rock. Let's see here.
Hey, what is Patrick's place called? I mean, you have the Hacienda. I have what was formerly the Hughes Compound Southern Command, now Fraz.
Yeah. Patrick's house is known as Marley's. Marley's house.
Or the crib?
Marley's house. It's pretty much in the same naming vernacular as his body part. So, like, it's Marley's penis. So that's basically Marley's house. Everything, that's how these things are named.
Here is for DCG44, who wanted to talk Hamilton. I'm going to ignore the conversation that was going on before I jumped back in.
Back off a little. Okay, there you go. Good.
It's sort of like an old school pilot's watch. It's automatic. It's got an ETA 2824 automatic movement. This is a fantastic. This is my rough and tumble watch. Like when I go out to Hank's or I'm going to go in the water, go get dirty, I usually wear this because...
There's water at Hank's?
No. If I'm going to the water, like when we go to the springs or whatever, I usually wear this watch because if I break it or lose it. I don't feel quite as bad as losing something like that or that, but it's served me well for the time that I've had it. I've had it for a couple years now.
Walter says, "Dem's some purdy watches." There you go. And Lola says, "Did I just hear you all talking watches?" And Lola did throw up a link to this watch. Boom! If you guys are interested in this one, this is a pretty cool watch. Look at how thick that sapphire glass is on there, and that's like genuine sapphire glass on there. Lola just threw up a link, so check it out right there. And you could get 10% off. You can get 10% off with Lola's link.
Is there something like Lola's
Nitrate? That Hamilton is showing the wrong time. I know it's been dead for a couple days. I haven't wound it, and it's been sitting on a desk. I'm winding it right now, and I'm going to change the time.
I would leave it there. It's going to be the right time eventually.
Yeah, tomorrow at 4:32, it will be the right time. This is a good watch, though, and it wasn't bad. This was like $400, which in watch talk is very affordable.
Yeah, I have a Hamilton Field. What is it? Mine is the
Field. Yours is
Field
a
Day Date.
khaki.
Yeah, khaki Field Day Date.
It is
blacked
pretty.
out. Yeah, it's really awesome, and it was also in a TV show.
Was it really?
Yeah, what's that TV show that? Oh man, I forgot the name of the TV show it was on. But yeah, forget it. I don't have the time to go look it up here. But yeah, it was in a TV show. You know, so it's in one of those Amazon series with I forgot the name of the crap. I can't remember the name of the guy. Anyway.
You're never going to remember.
We talked about it before. I just can't remember exactly what the thing is now. So, listen, let's go to this. Let's talk. Huh? Jack
Reacher?
Reacher. No, not Jack Reacher.
No. The TV show?
Yeah, it's not Jack Ryder. It's something like that. Sounds something like that in that vein. What is going on with Rich?
They locked me out of the house.
Oh, okay.
Music lover, I get. Let's see, where did she say something about pocket watches? I do have a pocket watch as well, and I really love pocket watches, especially the old Omega conductors train pocket watches with ceramic dials. Oh, those things those hit the spot for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lola says it's Jack Ryder. Hold on a second. It's Ryan.
Oh, Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan. Let's see. Jack Ryan watch Hamilton. That should probably bring it up. Let me see if there's actually a picture of him wearing that watch in the show. Okay, here it goes. So take a look at this. I'll run this in here since we're all bragging about our awesomeness. So here's the Jack Ryan show. I forgot the name of this guy. I know he's going to be in Marvel, and then there's a kind of a close-up of the watch. But I have that watch. Way before he decided to put it on the show, he's totally biting my style. But here, I'll throw this up also on the screen. There you go. That's what it looks like. There you go. I think it's a very operator kind of watch, right?
Because he's an operator.
Yeah. So there you go. I just like super blacked out watches like that have chronographs, and I thought it was really cool. And then I noticed that when they did that show, they threw that on there. Kathleen Music Lover says he's married to Emily Blunt. Yep. So there you go, Jack Ryan. Brick says Jack Ryan is a great show. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, and I think it's like in the second season. No, I haven't watched it.
Is it? No, wait. Oh, wait. Yeah, there is the second season, but I blew through that so fast it was crazy.
Yeah,
totally binge watched.
A little bit about Emily Blunt.
Huh? Emily Blunt's kind of she's kind of a biscuit, right? Or whatever the kids call it these days.
Whatever the kids call it.
No, she's cool. She's cool. Let's talk about this thing with Gunstreamer.
They're back.
Yeah, so
they avoided the apocalypse.
Yeah, Gunstreamer's still out there. I'm gonna run in. Here's the Gunstreamer's website right here. They're still out there. They're still up and running. If you go to Gunstreamer, I know there was some news out there that they weren't. So by the way, there's Tactical Toolbox's site. There's mine. Babyface is on there. I think Rich, you're on there as well. Yep. So it's still there, and the company that they're involved in nowadays is Gun Critic. Gun Critic, I think, came in and
saved the day.
Yeah, saved the day. Swooped in with a cape and
Good for
saved
them.
the day with what do you guys think about this whole thing? Do people have questions? I know some people were asking us to talk about that, and I've been neglecting to get on that conversation. What do you guys think about that whole thing? Don't everyone jump in there
speak
at
up once.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're back. I want to see them succeed, and I'm still, for me, I'm trying to figure out how I can help them with that. I haven't quite figured. I need to figure how to get them into my pipeline better of like publishing videos, maybe publish to them a week early, and turn off the auto publishing. To try, because I would love to see. I really do want to see them succeed. I don't want to see them.
Well, the good thing about Gunstreamer, so all of the restrictions that we have on YouTube, so they don't live stream, so that's one big detriment to Gunstreamer. But the other thing is, you can show everything about a firearm, where YouTube doesn't want you to show a magazine capacity greater than 30 rounds, so a PS90 is off. For a while, like a year ago, they banned basically all bullpup videos. You can't show a field strip. There's so many things you can't do. If you talk about a 3D... I've had videos demonetized where I don't even show, talk about a 3D printed gun, and it's demonetized. So big advantage to Gunstreamer. And so Shooting Gallery New England's doing something... He thought of this on his own. I thought of it also, that I would do a teaser YouTube video, say, hey, links in the description below. Go to my Gunstreamer channel. Just click on that first link, and you can see the whole 3D printing process here. How I did it, what I did, and why.
Yeah, so you do just to the line of what you
teaser.
can do on YouTube, but you're kind of funneling people over to Gunstreamer. I think one of the things, so this is a long conversation, I think, on the Gunstreamer subject, but I think they had a really good idea. One of the big things I like about Gunstreamer is it cuts down on some of the work, right? When you put something up on YouTube, once you're signed up, you don't have to go like upload it. Okay, let me put this metadata over here.
But you know the problem with that that I'm realizing, and Kathleen Music Lover made a funny comment, by the way, that you should see. The problem I'm realizing with that is that's not helping them drive traffic to their site. Currently, I'm just using them as a repository, and that's it. And after them going dark and coming back, I feel kind of bad about it. So that's why I kind of want to figure out a way to make them, even if I just put it up a week and say, hey guys, content's up a week early over there. Go check it out if you want to see it. It'll be up a week later on YouTube, to try to drive traffic to them. Because in time, Hank, you and I have talked about this before. We, as YouTubers, are not long for this world. They want us gone, and it will happen sooner
At
than
least
later.
our gun stuff. We may
Gun
or may
stuff, that's
not
what I'm
exist on YouTube at all, but if we do, it'll be in a severely restricted...
They're going to come
handicapped.
after us sooner than later. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
So...
Absolutely. Let me just get to Kathleen's statement, and then I'll get into that. She said they should ban all bullpups, period. And Walter says bullpup hate is still hate.
Hate speech. We can't have that on this platform.
Yeah. Kathleen, don't be a bullpup Karen. That's what I gotta say to you. So yeah, I think that one of the problems they had was, look, everyone wanted to use them as a backup, right? So lots
They're
of people
not making money to cover the server costs when all you're doing is using them as a
they
backup.
need a lot of traffic over there in order for them to be able to reach out to the companies. I think someone asked me when this was all going down before, before Gun Critic came in with the rescue. People were like, "Whose fault is this?" Everyone's arguing about this on the social medias. Is it our fault? Is it their fault? Is it this person? It's everyone's. I blame everyone.
You can never blame the end user as fault for not using a product. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, what I meant by that is, look, I think that they had limitations, but these guys invested a lot of money into this. It wasn't like magical money out of the ether. They were pouring money into it that, has limitations.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But I think they did a lot better than a lot of other places out there. They had apps. They were able to pull over this stuff. we were participating in it. Maybe we should have done a little bit more. I agree with that. I know on my part, there's tons of videos that are over there that are not on YouTube. When YouTube comes down on my videos and makes it limited, I remove those videos. And I'm telling you, so like the other day I was saying that I have over 900 videos on YouTube, I think 960 or something. I've pulled like 400 videos from YouTube because of that, right? Because I'm constantly getting hit up, and I've told people that I think if you start collecting those yellow coins, it works against you. And we've seen some people get into things where YouTube comes to them and goes, "You're not really viable as a partner," and all that. So I remove those things because I think that's just me. I don't have it. This, it's all empirical. But I think that is something that they're using against people to eventually go, yeah, if you look at this percentage, 50% or 60% or whatever it is yellow coins, we don't want to partner with you. So I just put them over there. But I think, like you said, Patrick, maybe we should do something like that where the stuff goes up there for a week or whatever.
I know for me personally, after they went dark, I thought that the next thing that comes around, I need to try to prioritize it to try to help them gain subs, gain traction. And I need to figure out a way to get that, basically to work on that pipeline and that's going to take me, honestly, that's going to take me getting more videos out ahead of time, like getting stuff prepared. Because right now I'm kind of back to working week to week, which is not a good way to try to run a channel. But if you can schedule stuff out like me. Every 3 or 4 weeks. If you can get stuff scheduled out further and then set your pipeline up so they overlap, it comes out, your content comes out a week ahead on Gunstreamer and then a week later on YouTube. It might help, but it's just they're fighting an uphill battle, and it's just going to be tough. No matter what they do, it's going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah, I think
that's just the fact of life.
Yeah, it's tough to get the industry on board. There's all these things that should be done. Ultimately, I know I had this conversation with Austin before when I first met with him and spoke to him about this stuff, and I was like, dude, how long can you hold out? Because the big problem here is most people won't adapt to this until YouTube has just had a purge and just kicked us all out. That's when everyone will get on board, and that's the tough part. I'm glad to see the Gun Critic guys come on. I actually had a conversation with the owner of Gun Critic over the break. I don't know how much of that I could really share with you guys right now, but I did invite him to come on. He said he would come on and talk to people and answer questions and things like that. And I think it's a good thing. It's a good combination. If you look up Gun Critic, I never heard of it before, but they have all these ratings and stuff like that for guns. So I think that this might be a good combination, and there's lots of good things they can do here in this partnership. So I really hope it works out, and I would agree with what Patrick is saying, that maybe we all need to do some soul searching, try to figure out a way that we can help them go further so that they don't all wind up back in this position again, and these guys are able to stick around for when we need them, which could
it's coming.
Any day now.
And I don't want to be that fear monger, but it's coming. YouTube will be getting rid of us eventually. It's just the way
they just need the cover. You get like a Joe Biden being president. Yeah,
they need the cover. That's exactly what it is.
You get Congress and Senate and everything switching over to
it will be
Dems.
gone. We will be gone.
Yeah. So it's gonna be rough. You think you got it bad now? It'll be rough when all of a sudden all that stuff disappears. Look, YouTube or Google took them out of search, right? So in other words, you could search for Gunstreamer and still find it, but they made it difficult.
They're SEO'd to the bottom as far down as possible.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So Google is I mean, if somebody could ever actually bring a case against them for anti-competitive monopoly, you could win it. But Google is so good at hiding what they do as they do it, so it makes it difficult.
Yeah, Brick says, how can they get live stream? I've talked to them about it before. It's really expensive. Let's just put it that way.
It's what it comes down to, is server costs.
Yeah. It's going to be an expensive thing. It would be awesome because I think it would be a great way for us to go back. I've been trying to figure out how we can go back to being able to show guns and stuff like that. I've been bending my mind on it. I haven't come up with a solution I think that's going to work yet, that's going to stick. I know there's lots of different options out there. When I looked at things, I didn't really feel like I saw the thing that we can do where we all switch over to that and then we could do this. But I am thinking about that. And I think that's why we all have a vested interest in this. I don't want to ever get off the mainstream social medias like YouTube, Facebook, and all that, because it's a way to communicate with the masses. Right. But I do see a day when we use it to like say to people, I think like Rich was saying, that, hey, you want to see our real unfiltered stuff, go over here.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and Walt says, follow the money, boys.
His favorite saying is very, very true.
Yeah. Gun Doctor TV.
You know who's in charge of big tech. Big tech does not like freedom of speech when it is against what they think speech should be.
Absolutely. Gun Doctor TV says, we need a YouTube alternative, not just for guns. I'm late, maybe this has been said. Yeah. But
for everybody. Everybody's going to need it in time.
We do, and there's alternatives out there, like there's Parler and stuff like that for social media. But I'm just going to say this. I think the gun world does need a gun-centric ecosystem for us to function in. And what I mean by that is, if you look at anything else, so let's say cars. If you're into cars or if you're into watches, there's lots of places that you can interact. If you're on Facebook and someone's showing you and watching like, ooh, that watch is cool, they can easily put up links and things like that, and you don't have to do a lot of work to go through those links and then partially get a watch that you enjoy, that you want, but then help out some creator who made content, maybe let's say around that watch, right? Same thing with cars, same thing with a whole bunch of different things. When it comes to the firearms industry, that's not allowed.
Yeah, you can't share. You can't share what you want to share with people.
No, so for that reason, I think the industry does need to get up on an ecosystem that a lot of these things are plugged in, and we can communicate, and communicate freely, where the companies could say, hey, you want to see this thing you want to see this thing that we're selling, here's a link, you could go to it. Or if folks like myself have done something on it, we could say, hey, by the way, if you want to buy this thing and help us out, go through this. I think if we don't do that, you're gonna suffer. We have to have something like that. It's not that we have to get rid of these mainstream things, but we're going to be severely limited on those things of what we could say. And yes, the point is going to come where they go, nope, hands down, you're just not going to exist here.
It's coming. It's coming. It will be here soon. They just need the right cover, and it will be here. So don't like. Heed my words now. It will be here. Big tech does not want Second Amendment people hanging around. They have no interest in it.
Yeah. Walter says, until the big gun sites get cut off money-wise, nothing will change. That's true. Yep. Oh, well, let's think about it this way. And I'm not trying to knock any specific folks out there, but, there's lots of big companies that their websites suck donkey balls. Hairy donkey balls, actually. Actually, hairy, sweaty donkey balls. Am I lying? You guys tell me. You guys are buying guns all the time. You look at these websites, you're like, what the hell's going on here? What's the deal? Yeah. Are we in 2020 or are we in 1985? Yeah. Right? So the reason why I say all of that is, don't you think that when these guys are developing new platforms, that they should develop them, like new websites, they should really develop them like platforms?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way to go. If you want to keep people there, you want to make a social element, you want to keep it going here, that they might be looking at videos, they might be looking at this thing, that thing, having conversations, and every now and then they're like, oh, we're going to buy stuff. This is the future of all of this. This is what Facebook, YouTube, all of the platforms that are really thriving right now are already doing this. Instagram, they're already doing that. So in the gun world, we need that. You're getting cut off from that, and you don't realize that how big of a piece of the puzzle this is. But I think, like Walter's saying, no one's really going to think about it until they run into that brick wall.
Right. Until you have to. You're not going to move until you're forced to move.
Yeah. And we're literally talking about something that's backed up by the Constitution.
Yep.
So it's insane that it's happening, but it's happening.
Wait, Gun Doctor's got a great comment.
Yeah, he says Walter should just buy YouTube, problem solved.
We all know he has the money. He's just too stingy.
Listen, Walter's a millionaire, but Walter can't buy YouTube breakfast. Okay? I mean, let's be honest, I love Walter, man, but if he had that kind of money, I would be balling out a lot more than you see. You have no idea. Walter will be corporate jets, will be flying around. All of us will have tanks.
Oh God, tanks for everybody. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's, man. When do you guys think this is actually going to happen? That these big companies that spend lots of money on their websites and all that, they spend more money, I think, on their websites and IT or whatever's going on than it takes to run, let's say, a gun streamer. Why wouldn't one of those big companies just go, you know what? Why don't we just buy that and skin that over to our platform, to our
because it's
to
an
our
extra
next site?
cost. It's a cost they don't have to fork out right now.
Yeah, and that's everything. It all comes down to money. All of it comes. Everything.
But isn't this a corporate thing? Like, aren't the people who are successful the people who see the future and get into it? Look at Jeff Bezos. Why is he one of the richest people on the face of the planet?
He jumped in on a service when he did. That's like Elon Musk creating PayPal.
Yep.
Jumped in on a needed service when he did.
Right. So
you're going up against a titan of industry that most people don't even fucking like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if it were me and I was a millionaire and somebody was like, "Hey, let's go take on Google," I'd be like, "Fuck no, I'm gonna go do something else. I'm not taking on Google. That's not worth my time."
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think it would be worth the investment for some of these big companies out there. I mean, I think it would really be worth the investment for them to get in on the ground floor of something like this that works, and then, spend the further investment just to develop it where, okay, here's all these videos, gun videos and things like that. And by the way, you like that gun you just saw? We happen to sell that.
Yes, I agree that there's a market for that for sure. That would be a good entire platform. Yes, I agree there.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the last time, and I'm not naming any names, but think of the last time this was discussed with people that we know and how that went, and just imagine
yes, it would be
trying
crazy
to do that shit again. Like, I wouldn't want no part of any of that.
Yeah, it's good.
Ego's involved, and like, I don't want that.
Yeah, but we need some pioneers, man. We do need people willing to take the risk if they want to live in the future.
Yeah, we do.
We really do, and not. I'm not just saying that, man. I really think when I look at it from all the different things that I see, I think this is really the future. And if the gun world's cut off from it, I'm not saying that because I make content. I'll be honest with you. You guys just saw us talking about watches. I can make content about watches and cars and all kinds of stuff that I won't go through this hassle. I don't have to live in a world like where it's so, for example, one of the things that drives me crazy in the gun world, the folks out there believe that everyone in the gun world has to be monks. You have to be a monk. You must starve to death, but also make me gun videos. So it's difficult already to do this, and it's going to get more difficult as we go forward into the future here, regardless of who's president and all that kind of stuff. And I think people really need to prepare for that, because it's really going to come down to it. If they can cut off these voices, if everyone is on social media and they can cut off our voices, we're not going to exist. And you guys will pay the price for that. At some point, you'll realize it if you don't get up on that. So I don't know. I think it just really ultimately is one of those things that no one is going to see until the house is burning down.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah. So, it's crazy, man. I don't really understand why everyone looks at it that way.
Look at Barnauls with the BOP. I think that's a great marketing angle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if somebody else, if Barnauls or pick a company, PSA, somebody like say, hey, I'll buy Gunstreamer, make it a portal, and you can pimp PSA whatever, or if you see a PSA whatever. Mm-hmm. Click through and you can buy it.
Yeah.
You
have the potential to own everything, even the stuff that you don't make and sell. Because let's look at Gunbroker. Can we talk about Gunbroker for a second? Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone has any personal.
It's a terrible service, but it's the only service that we have as gun people. So, I mean, I don't know if anybody else has used Gunbroker. For the most part, it's a awful website.
I mean, we're actually FFLs, so we sell stuff through Gunbroker.
Oh,
it's the worst. It's one of the worst things. Now there is Arms List, and by the way, Arms List is allowing people to sell stuff through there. I think Arms, I've had the owner of Arms List on, and I think they're trying to get to that to a different level with what they're doing. But yeah, Gunbroker is the brand, right, that we all recognize.
Sure.
And maybe for some other reasons people out there don't support Arms List. I think they're kind of deserving of our support, but probably in the same category. Probably not the best website that exists in the world. People need to start thinking about this and getting on that, because if you own this going in on the ground floor, not only do you own the entire business. That's what Amazon did. They started with books and everyone's like, these guys are crazy ass. Who wants to buy books online? Okay, dude, now you buy everything from Amazon.
Oh my God, yeah.
Everything. So things they don't make, you buy from Amazon. Okay? And they make money on everything that sells through there. So if you're one of these super wealthy gun guys out there who's actually planning on being a gun manufacturer or being in the industry in the future, and you're looking at all of this, the time is right now to think about this and get on board. Because you know what's going to happen? Some guy who gets what I'm saying and has the money, but he's a liberal, will buy into this and will run things, and then one day pull the plug out and go, yeah, I have this thing going right now. I own it, but you know what? I just don't believe in it. Boom, no plug. Or it just won't exist. When you can buy into it, and the only thing that could pull down the only thing that could stop you becoming super, super ridiculously wealthy in the future is America gets rid of the Second Amendment. And damn it, like I told you guys already, when they actually announce that, I told Lola already, we're in Civil War mode. That's how I feel about that. I'm not gonna just I'm not gonna get up every day and go to work in America that there's no second. That's just me. I don't know. I don't want to put words in anyone else's mouth, but when they actually tell you that, and if you think it's impossible, just think about the people in Australia that one day they said, you don't have the rights to this. You don't have this anymore. Then things will be looking completely different. So that's the only thing, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely, and there's lots of people fighting for it. You could get in on the ground floor of that. So I don't know. It's crazy thoughts. Remember what you said, Patrick? We were talking about big picture guy.
Yeah,
that's my problem.
You're a big picture guy with no money.
Yeah, I can see. But the worst thing for me is I can see the future. Do you know that?
The worst thing is you're a poor big picture guy.
It hurts. Because I could literally see. I could see the future of this.
No, it's true. This is what's happening. This is what's coming.
Yeah. I mean, this is not stuff I'm making up or whatever. It's already been done. It's what happened with Amazon. It's what happened with Amazon. It's why Google bought YouTube and poured so much money into it. You know why? They own it, baby.
They now own the narrative because they own it.
Yeah.
And that's the scariest thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're doing what I was saying. They own it now, and in the beginning they're like, oh no, this is for everybody. Free speech all day. And you think it's just the gun people that they will ban? They're going to get rid of anyone who says anything that they don't like.
Anything dissenting will be gone if they have their way.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fall in line.
Yeah. So, anyway. Is that too much ranting? Because you know what? I hate to be right. Do you know that? Like, people think that I like to say
That's
I told
not
you
what
so.
Lola says.
I hate to be right. Yeah,
it's true. It's painful.
Get out of here.
It's okay. Do you think
so right all the time?
Listen, let me tell you something. There's nothing more painful than seeing something that you know is going to happen and then it happens. Because what's the real pleasure you get of saying "I told you so" when?
I kind of like saying "I told you so" sometimes. It feels pretty damn good.
you think it feels good?
I love being like, listen, what was I saying? I said that. That's right. I said that. I'm just that kind of asshole, though. So it's you don't have to.
So let's fast forward 20 years, right? I'm 48. So when I'm 68, what are you? You're like 28 or
I'm
something.
30 right now.
You're 30, so you're 50. Richard, you'll probably be closer to my age, right? Or 70.
I'll be 75.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, and then we don't have everything that we're saying here comes to pass.
Remember how great YouTube's was?
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. That is absolutely gonna be a thing.
You're gonna be happy about that? Like, is it gonna make you happy to say that?
No. It doesn't make me happy when I'm right about bad things. It just makes me happy to be right. I like being right. I'm not saying I'm happy with when I say, oh yeah, all these people are gonna die, and then all those people die. That doesn't make me happy. Yeah. But being right makes me happy.
The day when they come to get all the guns and they're showing up on everyone individually and nobody's fighting, all the people who are ready to boog and do all that stuff, you know, all the people that did all the memes and everything, and we're just like, nope, it's just freaking UN is showing up and coming to collect your guns and nobody's doing anything about it. No one, you know, all of that, when all of that stuff is happening, when there's no marketplace, when they suffocate this, because there's no marketplace and no way to sell it or even communicate and talk to each other and organize and all that, I think it's just going to be like, man, remember when we used to spend all our energy instead of hanging out with our wives and going to dinner? You, Patrick, will call me up and say, you bastard. Yeah, I want back all those dinner dates I didn't make.
We can't let it happen. That's the only thing is you got to continue fighting for it.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Ooh, ouch, Kathleen. Ouch.
I didn't know what she said.
What did she say?
She said, rant, Hank, rant, just like, and I'm not going to say his name.
Oh.
I think it's different. I think in my case, I really do. One, I'm not Antifa. So that's one. I'm not Antifa. So, and I really do care about the Second Amendment. I really do care about the gun community. So, you know, that's where I'm at. You know, I spend most of my time ranting about these things because I want people to pay attention before, you know, we get there. What else are you seeing? Huh?
You got to take Lola to dinner. She's saying
yes,
you owe her.
Right.
Lola says, yes, I'm owed lots of dinner dates.
Look, if Hank won't take you, Lola, I will.
Oh,
you know what? The first lady needs to be.
You didn't hear that.
I don't know if she knows about this. Anyway, listen, it's 9. You bastard!
My God,
somehow.
is it really?
Yeah, you. Ooh. Yeah, is it really? You burned all this time talking about watches.
Listen, I did not do anything. I got to watch it, and then you said, "Hey, let's talk about watches." I said, "Okay, I'll talk about watches."
Yeah, you don't need a lot of motivation.
You guys, Kathleen Music Lover, you get to vote. Would you rather hear me gloat about watches or Hank rant about our gun rights? Which is better? Which is worse? Maybe let's say that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a loaded question. At least Shooting Gallery Annie, he's with me. And listen, I wasn't talking about bullpups. I had some bullpup stuff lined up.
Listen, I wasn't talking about bullpups this time. Yeah.
I had bullpup stuff lined up. Okay, listen, let's do this before we get out of here. Richard Hughes and Pebbles. How can the people? Oh, there you go. Look, there you go. That's a good shot right there. Richard Hughes and Pebbles. Look at that. That's right, Pebbles. Okay, flap the wings. How can the people? How can they get in touch with you, follow you, support you, Rich?
So, FlyingRich.com or YouTube.com/FlyingRich or FlyingRich official on the grams, and he's Pebbles Bird on the grams.
Awesome. Listen, by the way, you know what, Kathleen? What did I do to Kathleen Music Lover?
Pissed in her coffee.
Is that actually? Yeah, it's like she says, Lola, you deserve so much better.
She just took a big old pee in her coffee one day, and she's not happy.
Man, Kathleen, what did I do to you? What did I do
tonight? Raw. That should be her other username, Raw Kathleen Music Lover. So when we know that she's like getting ready to get out.
Yeah. All right. So, Babyface, how can the folks support you out there?
YouTube.com/BabyfaceP. Videos every Monday. I actually have one coming out this Friday because I had a bit of overage. So get ready for that.
Yes. And Patrick is on the Patreons.
If you have a Patreon, if you guys want to help out there, you can. I never tell people they have to because I do.
You have to.
I don't do it to make money. I do it for fun. So don't feel like you're pressured into. But every dollar there goes back to the channel. It does not. The dollars there do not go to buying things like this. This comes out of my own pay that I work hard for daily.
Yes.
Just so you know.
I'm gonna say this. You have to go support Patrick. He's cool. He does a lot of stuff. He helps us out. And if you the next 5 people that support him on Patreon. You can choose your patch. You can choose your patch.
I am not sending anything out for you again.
Go to patreon.com right now.
Oh, there you go, Rich. Rich is right up on it.
Yeah, I want swag.
I have some new patches. I'll mail you one out, Rich.
Oh, you got new patches?
I got some of yours, yeah, because I sent those out last time. I had a fundraising campaign. I got roped into sending that crap out.
Yeah. So listen, let me run the end in here. Boom. While I do, I want to remind you guys to subscribe here to the channel, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. You can, of course, find this in audio on iTunes and all the other places that you listen to podcasts. Special thanks to Walther Arms for supporting us. We really do appreciate that. They, they help us to come on here and rant and rave and talk about our visions of the future, and we appreciate that stuff. As well as I appreciate Babyface Pete and Richard Hughes and Pebbles and all of you folks out there. You know what? Here's one little quick trivia, okay? What do you think was the highest viewed podcast that we ever did? I mean, this is like, we're approaching 600 here. What number do you think the highest viewed podcast ever got to? And I'll give you a clue. It wasn't on this channel. It was when we were on the main Hank Strange channel before we split off.
Before you got hit.
Yeah, before we got hit. What number of views do you think that video got to? Just take a wild guess. Wild guess.
10,000.
Okay, 10. What do you think, Patrick? Above that?
25.
75,000 views.
Wow.
Yeah, an entire podcast, not even a snippet. It's a podcast. I think it's like 20-something. Episode number 20.
The one with Vada? Is that why?
No. That was I think one. This one had a Military Arms channel in it, and I was going through the other day. It's on Hank Strange, 75,000 views. That's pretty cool. And obviously here, I think we're not doing as well as that. We can be if you guys subscribe to us and help us build it up to that. But I think eventually it will do that. We will see some things like that going on. Lola says it wasn't the Vada. It was definitely with Military Arms channel, and we appreciate that. You guys should
that's just because she likes Mike. She's smiling and blushing right now. I know it.
I don't know what the hell Rich is talking about. Okay, listen. Thanks so much. Thanks to everyone. We're out of here. We will see you tomorrow. We're out. Peace.
Night.
See ya.